So, we had just wrapped up an awesome, anointed, we're speaking in tongues kind of recording right before this one.
And someone.
But my beautiful wife here believes and insists that she hit record. So we're just talking for what? 25 minutes?
But it's like...
And nothing. I get up to check it and there's nothing. Zero. Anyways, welcome everyone. We're excited to have you in our home. We decided to make this YouTube channel together. We've tried her having one, me having one, and it just kind of falls apart after some time.
Well, they're still there.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can go look for the content, it's there.
Yeah.
But we decided to do something new, something together, where we can talk about our marriage. We've had a lot of ups and downs. I've had a lot of downs, you know, and I think we were watching a couple last week that were opening up and being vulnerable, you know, about what they've gone through, and man, that's hard to do. Yeah. Carlos, Diana, if you guys are watching,
follow them on Instagram.
But you're gonna have to go back and find the episodes.
The lives
that they were doing. I think it was a series, right? A series of them.
I think there was like 3 of them, so you have to watch all of them.
Yeah, but yeah. Anyways, that kind of, I had been wanting to do something.
I know. He always has these ideas. He says he's not like in front of the camera.
I'm not.
Guy.
I'm like the behind the camera guy. Everybody that knows me.
But I can't tell our story, just me.
Well, you could. I could put like a little, graphic of me
with your glasses on.
Oh yeah, I'm not wearing glasses. Well, my glasses, you can see the big
hat.
ring, in my glasses, and I didn't want to do that to you guys. So I took them off, and no hat today.
It's
just today. Maybe next week you'll see me with a hat on.
Hopefully not.
But anyways, we want to talk about our married life. We want to talk about the challenges that we've confronted.
Yeah. Exciting.
It was hard for us to, we were able to open up with people, but I feel like many people probably don't have that. They don't have that person or a couple that they can go to.
Well, even if you do, there's like this stigma of like when you get married, right? That you are happy. So I feel like a lot of times like you go through stuff, but then you feel like you can't complain or ask for help because you're supposed to be happy.
Especially when you're a pastor's kid, especially when you are pastors. Like, everybody thinks that we have this like amazing life, and we do, we do, but it's taken time for us to get to this point, and even though we don't have it all figured out, but we're definitely in a much better place. But just because, you're pastors, that doesn't exempt you from having to confront challenging times,
Yeah.
And I think we confronted a challenging time like right off the bat, like,
I do.
We were, we had we had a great wedding, by the way, which we were really excited about. We had a suite where we got married, and it was great. Like everything was good.
That was nice. That was really nice.
Once the next day, we woke up and we started leaving.
I think the situation was even before that, though.
Why?
Because like we both come from different. We grew up differently.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
So let's take it back. We grew up totally different. I come from a home where my parents are still married. Almost 31 years, I think, this year. I think, right? And I grew up, witnessing them loving each other. Yes, they had their fights and whatever, but me and my brother, I have a younger brother, and him and I also lived a different childhood. It depends on who you ask. But like they were always happy. So I grew up in church. Yes, my parents are pastors, and I witnessed what the perfect marriage, the perfect family type of thing. So I went into marriage expecting to see that.
Same, yeah.
And you...
But I came from a very different,
different
upbringing, and I didn't have a father figure in my life. I came home from a broken home.
Totally different.
Even where I grew up, like you grew up here, and even though you're from California, but you grew up here.
I was born in California, but then moved here when I was 10, and that's only been
but
a few years ago.
I grew up being a tagger. I grew up, seeing gangs and drugs and all of that,
Are you a gangster?
Never. No, I was never a gangster. But yeah, like we had very different upbringings, you know, and my mom did the very best that she could. Being a single mom, you know, she instilled a lot of really great values, and she was a woman that you know, God really answered her prayers for my life, for my brother's life, for my sister's life.
Yeah, he has a brother and a sister. You heard that. A lot of people ask if he's the only child when they meet us. I only met Orlin, which is his brother, a few months ago, really. Like, yeah, right?
Yeah, like ago, right before I left to Spain.
Where I really met his brother. So, you know, just totally different. So even before we got married, you know, when you meet someone, you're blinded with love. It's such a beautiful time. And, well, I thought it was. Anyway, it's a beautiful time, right? You're blinded with love and you fall in love with this person and, oh my goodness, you feel all the good feels, but you don't pay attention to these things, right? And even though other people around you tell you, you still don't pay attention because all you're focused on is like, you're like this. So I think I had an idea of what I wanted in a marriage. Maybe you didn't because you didn't know what to expect, or you did, I don't know.
I had my own general idea of what marriage was going to be, but I had no clue, to be honest.
We come together and then right off the bat, like, you know, you say I do, and then you both start living two different dreams, two different ideas. And even though we would talk about it, because we used to swear that like, oh, we're gonna be fine because I know him so well and he knows me so well that we're not gonna have any situations or problems at the beginning, you know, like, because people used to tell us like once the honeymoon phase ends, then the problems start.
And for us it ended like the next day. Because like we woke up, we're like on our way to Dominican Republic. Oh no, we had a great wedding. Like I really believe that you had what you envisioned, right?
Yeah, I had a great wedding. I had the bridesmaids. I had the big puffy dress.
Great food.
We had great food. My aunts like helped me. My Marcel was there. Like it was like my parents, your family was there. It was awesome.
Great. It was fun, yeah.
I think, it was good.
That night, like, we were so tired. We went up to our room, and Carol had a cheeseburger
in my dress,
in her dress
on her
still.
bed, and I was like, you
know, it started off like a fairy tale wedding. That's what I wanted to see in my bride.
Wow, yeah, eating a cheeseburger. Yeah, like, because you don't eat when you're at your wedding. Like, you don't really eat. Yeah. So then we were hungry. It was late, past midnight.
Yeah.
And we ordered room service, and we had like the highest floor room. It was amazing.
Yeah,
and
it was the double tree.
It was really nice. But so that night was good. You know, I was nervous for our first night.
Our first night?
Together.
Dang. Tell me more.
Anyway, I was nervous.
Oh yeah, and then what?
And then after that we I was nervous because it was my first night being intimate with someone. So again, we come from two different backgrounds. You know, Marvin came from a past where he had already done that. So obviously by the grace of God, like, he's been forgiven, so why am I gonna like not forgive him? I think everybody has a story, right? But that night, like, I had a certain idea in mind, and even though it was my first time, like, I felt like I already had a standard because you already like knew what you were doing. Well, it helped.
Yeah, no, I know. I think it was tough because, well, number one, you know, you have to be upfront about your past. You know, I remember there was an instance where I had a girlfriend, and I told her,
you had a girlfriend?
Yeah, I told her, I was like, you know what, there's something that I gotta tell you, and she's like, please don't tell me that you're not a virgin. And I was like, oh yeah, no, that's not what it was. And like,
but it wasn't.
But it was that, yeah. Like, I wanted to tell her that I had a past, you know. This was a girl that I had met at church too. And unfortunately, that's not unfortunately, because, you know, there's always a bigger plan, but that's at the stage, you know, for our relationship that was already, the foundation was already a lie, you know. And I didn't want to do that with Carol because I knew that I didn't want to go through that again. You know, I didn't want to go through another false idea of a relationship. But But yeah, so I was open with her, and thank God that, you know, she was able to see past that. But that played a role, or it made me have like issues, right? I mean, would you call it issues?
Well, I mean, I think like trauma.
Maybe trauma,
almost.
Maybe trauma,
I know that's like such a like, oh my gosh, trauma. But so we got married. We had a good night. We had a good first night, right? The next day, we go to our honeymoon was at the Dominican Republic, Corales. Anyways, so just thinking about all this food that she was eating the other day, and she kept saying like the DR.
This bombs out.
Anyway,
at least you know that they're watching you.
Yeah. Anyway, so we went to the Dominican for a honeymoon, and as we're heading to the airport,
I started feeling sick.
He starts feeling sick. And after the first night together, I'm like, okay, like, I got this. You know, like, all right, like, I can handle this. And I think it was when we landed, like, in Seattle, from here to Seattle or something like that, where he's like, I feel really sick. And
I did.
Yeah, he did. Like,
I had a sore throat.
Like, it's like a man cold, you know?
Yeah,
like,
it was the worst.
He didn't feel good, and we're flying from Seattle to the Dominican. It was so far. And we get there, and it's like tropical heat, right? So
right
it's
off
just
the
like
bat.
humid, it's raining, and we stayed in like this all-inclusive resort. So I have this high expectation because, you know, like, you're married, you're supposed to be doing married things at your honeymoon.
Like reading the Bible together.
Yeah, like praying together, you know, and, you know, you're supposed to be doing these things. So I'm like somewhat excited / nervous, but we get to this place and this guy is just like sick. Like,
but it was more
NyQuil out.
Like, it was like, okay, I was milking the way that I felt because I had other issues or trauma that I was dealing with, you know, ever since before I met her. Like, I mean, I was living a very sinful lifestyle, you could call it, and there was no boundaries. There was no...
Well, up until, I mean, you met Christ before you met me.
Well,
right?
yeah, okay, so, true. Okay, let me retract that statement. Yes, there was a point in time before I truly gave my life to Christ that I was living a lifestyle that didn't have any boundaries, it was just like whatever. And I was having internal issues with myself because you're married, you're free to like indulge, you know, in intimacy, and I couldn't do it. Like, I couldn't do it because I just kept thinking that it was still bad, that it was still a sin, you know, and the devil was just using my past to make our marriage start off on the wrong foot, you know. And it was something that I needed to overcome. And
it took a while.
It took a while.
So while we're on our honeymoon, he's like, he said, like, milking it that he's sick. I mean, he was, like, he had a fever. And, you know, like, all right. So you see me, like, out at the pool by myself the next day. And I'd go into the room, and he's just, like out, right? So I think we were there for about a week, and that lasted, like, 3-4 days. He'd come out to eat and then he'd go back. Like, no energy. I think the last few days, like, he came out and we were at the beach and we kind of made like the best that we could. Yeah. But I was disappointed with that because, like I said, I had an expectation of what our honeymoon should be like. Yeah. And it wasn't. So I knew that there was a deeper issue there because I would like, hey, and he would just like, no. And then, I mean, in a sense of like rejection type of thing, you know, like, wait, but now we're married, like, how is this? So people here at home thinking we're having like a grand time over there in the Dominican, and we didn't.
It wasn't like that. But the good thing is that we have a God of second chances and many opportunities. And we were blessed through, you were a nanny, right?
Oh, yeah. I nannied for a family that they got married in Cancun in Mexico. And
it was our honeymoon all over. Yeah.
And then I asked, can I bring him? Because we were like 7 months married, I think. And she's like, sure. So there you see me at the beach in Cancun with little baby that I used to take care of, and she was like a year old. And we were there for a full week. That was our honeymoon.
Moon Palace. If you guys are looking to go on a vacation somewhere, nice. Look it up. Moon Palace in Cancun. They're not paying us to. I wish they were.
They should.
Man, I want to go back there so bad. All inclusive, right by the beach. The suite was excellent. It was an amazing time.
It made up for the Dominican.
And it definitely made up for the Dominican Republic.
After we had talked through like the internal issues he was having, because then we came back home and we had to just kind of like, all right, like now you're married. So we're in our apartment we had, waking up to each other and just acting like adults, right? And he's struggling with this, not really sure how to tell me. I think until I was like, what the heck?
Yeah, like why don't you want to do it? Like why don't you want, like I think you started thinking there was a problem with you.
I was like, what?
Yeah, but it wasn't that. Like it was all in my head, you know. But thank God we were able to overcome it, and here we are almost 8 years later. We have 2 beautiful children who we're very fortunate to parent. And, you know, like I said, we have a lot of ups, a lot of downs. And we want to highlight some of the ups, but we want to focus in and pay attention to the downs, you know, because not because we're stuck in it, but because we want to be able to give you that what would you say, like,
well, I mean,
so that they don't make the same mistakes.
Yeah, don't make the same mistakes.
Yeah, don't get married.
Don't do it. I'm just kidding. No, I mean, I think every person has a story, you know, and even though you might think that like what we're going through is not a big deal, it can help somebody else. You know, we are surrounded by many couples, you know, and we've seen the good and the bad in their marriage. And we've been there when it's been hard. And it's like, if they can do it, if they're overcoming, we can do it, you know. And
hopefully we'll be able
with God.
Hopefully we'll be able to invite some of those married couples. So if you're married and you're friends with us or family, we're gonna find a date to book you in. So
we'll pencil you guys in.
But anyways, that's what we want to do today. Today we probably went a little longer than what we wanted to, or maybe we didn't go long enough, you know, but we definitely want to do this on a weekly basis. And
what's our name gonna be?
You know, we don't have a name for our YouTube channel yet.
Yeah.
So we're gonna leave that up to you guys. You guys go ahead and write in your comments what you think the name of this YouTube channel should be based on what you've already heard. So,
oh gosh.
Yeah, I mean,
the honeymoon fail.
Whatever it is, you know, we'll pick the one that best describes, you know, where we're at and where, you know, where we want to be. So anyways, comment, like, share, subscribe. We hope that you heard something that is gonna help you.
I think we have a lot. I think you'll be surprised.
You'll be surprised.
I think it's hard to balance being a mom, a dad, pastors, working full time. I'm a teacher. Well, we're on like summer break right now, you know.
We're not even in the summer yet though.
Oh. We started early. early summer break. But you know, and then you have this like people are expecting you to live a certain way in your marriage, you know, because you're like influence to other people. And so you live with that like standard almost. But yeah, so you'll be surprised. And let's see if they can guess who was the one that threw something at someone else.
Ooh, yeah. Somebody had a temper tantrum and
almost... I don't like that tone.
Are you going to throw something at me?
I don't like the tone.
But we'll talk about that next time.
Because there's more to the story.
There is more to the story, but I mean, we've gone through quite a bit. So anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching our first episode. Thanks for coming along in this ride. We're going to go ahead and, I don't know what I was going to say. But anyways,
stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Like, share, subscribe, all of that stuff. Until next time. Bye, guys.